Picking a super specific niche can unintentionally keep your products from ever being found, and going too broad with a niche will probably just confuse your customers to the point they leave without ever giving you a chance. So, which do we choose? Today I'm going to go over the 3 things you need to check off for each product you make to make sure your niche is aligned to your ideal customer. Because if you're struggling to sell your handmade crafts, it very well could be that your niche is all out of whack. So, let's talk about it. So what is a niche and who really cares? The definition of a niche is products or services that appeal to a small, specialized section of the population. This is important to know because the more we understand our niche, the more we can understand our customer. And when we understand our customer, we can sell to them much easier, which is the whole point, right? It's up to you if you want to go more broad with your niche or very narrow. This is also referred to as niching down. You've probably heard of it. You can go many tiers down into a niche, kind of like a funnel. For example, a coffee mug would start as an adult niche because babies don't use mugs, then a half step down for mug drinkers specifically. To bring it down to another tier would be to put a gamer-oriented graphic on there. One more step because the graphic says level 3 coffee, very nerdy, very game-oriented. And once more with some D&D styled stats. Now we're not just after coffee drinkers, we're after this precise type of tabletop gamer nerds. So with this product creation, we now have a little bit of insight into our customer. We can take this product and other similar products to gaming conventions, maybe get reviews by D&D influencers, and stuff like that. Stuff gets easier to sell when you know who's buying your product. Here's an example of how we can really miss the mark on aligning our ideal customer with our product, and it might even be what's holding you back. Let's say you make a laser engraved leather wallet with a little picture of a cat that says "World's Best Cat Dad" on there. Now let's break down that niche. We are separating out the population of people who like bifold wallets, and then out of that group, we're separating out specifically men. For dads, of those men, they have a cat or a few that they consider their children. So that's about 3 tiers down into a focused niche, which is perfect. But who is your target customer? And now it's quiz time. Is it A, bifold wallet collectors, B, dudes who have cats, or C, friends of dudes who have cats? Well, the answer is C. Sure, there'll probably be a person or two who would buy this for themselves, like how Michael from The Office got himself the world's best boss mug. Hey, see what I did there? But 9.9 times out of 10, it's going to be friends or family that's purchasing this as a present. So a product like this, you'd have a much better chance driving sales by getting featured in a Women's World magazine and a Gifts for Him section, rather than paying for a full spread in a Sports Illustrated, kind of like how Macy's plays children's clothing ads during The Bachelor and not Bluey, because kids aren't buying their own clothes, right? So keep in mind, the end user isn't always the customer, the people who are paying for the thing. If you're still in the product discovery phase, it might be worth it to figure out who you want your customer to be first, so you can plan products around what it is that they want or need. If you already have products, consider who is the one forking over that cash. So what even needs a niche? There are 2 drastically different ways to approach a niche. Let's use these Colorado State flag style stud earrings. I make these. If you had no idea whatsoever what my business was and you ran across these first, you would think one of 2 things. This maker makes exclusively Colorado merch, which is a very narrow niche, or this maker makes jewelry, which is a broad niche. And actually, that is what I do, obviously. Both could be true, both are niches, yet both are very different from each other. And I'm sure you're thinking, how are they different? It's the same product. So ask yourself this: what do you want to be known for? If I made exclusively Colorado things, right out of the gate, I can envision my ideal customer, find them online and in person. And this is beneficial because now I know I could wholesale to tourist spots, get featured in Colorado magazines and influencers. Marketing becomes easier and sales are practically guaranteed. If I just made a bunch of earrings, which is what I do, my selling tactics change completely. Instead, I would be targeting people who like handmade jewelry. I go after a broader audience and try to overlap a person who wears stud earrings with Colorado flag. And before, it's more like finding an overlap of a Coloradoan who happens to wear stud earrings. Either way you approach a niche with your products, there is an audience for it, I promise you, so long as you know who your customers are, which I'm sure by now you're sensing a theme going on. We covered this earlier. Now, you don't need to put a dog on a thing to try to sell your handmade goods to dog people. Obvious examples like these are used a lot to teach about niches, but what if you don't want to pick dogs or moms or soccer or anything like that? What if you just make generic things? Well, if you make generic things, I bet you there's still a niche focus to them, even if you don't realize it. The process in which you make a thing could be a niche. Let's go over a few. Hand knit. That's a niche. Hand painted, niche. Laser engraved, that's a niche. Sustainable materials, recycled materials, organic, homegrown, one of a kind, big and tall, women owned, etc., etc. These are all niches or qualifiers for a niche. Niche adjacent. People search for all sorts of things that mean something to them. Even these boring ass wooden earrings, but with a title like laser cut sustainable walnut wood hexagon earrings with hypoallergenic post, handcrafted small batch woman-owned biz. Now there's a lot more connection points for your ideal customer. So what products need niches? Every single one of them. Let's bring up those cat dad wallets again. The ideal customer of that wallet is a friend or family member of a man with a cat baby, right? So when you're making products, ask yourself, what else might they need? Maybe they know a world's best dog dad or a world's best cat mom. That's where 𝗏𝗏𝗲𝗆 comes in. And if you've watched my video on how much this site is a game changer for us laser makers specifically, then you already know. Even if you don't make things with lasers, let me show you how powerful that website is, and it will become obvious why I've been using it more and more lately. Now, the first place I always look when starting a new design is in their templates. Not only are there a zillion templates in every style and feel on the planet, but it makes starting a design so much faster than starting from scratch. This cat mom design is a great start. My absolutely favorite part about 𝗏𝗏𝗲𝗆 is the amazing ability to alter text. Thanks to the text edit function, we can completely alter the shape, perspective, vibe, and feel of our text. It's wicked easy to make a copy, and there we go, changing the text again. We can perfect the look, and I've got 2 designs now that took me literally less than 5 minutes in real time to make. The text features might be my favorite part, but it's not the coolest part. In my opinion, the most impressive feature so far is the sets generator functions. You can take an image like this cat and have their AI generate similar pictures in its image. Now I can make a dog in the same style. And with their vectorize function, you can turn these images into perfectly scalable and editable images and even save them as an SVG, which is freaking radical. This makes designing products so much easier, especially within a niche. If you are focused on one genre in particular, you can generate so many designs to test out with your customers. Your perfect product is waiting to be designed. And if you ever want to branch out of your particular style of product, try out some of your designs in their mock-up generator. If your customers like a design on a wallet, maybe they'd like it as a sticker or a tote bag. Check out my code below and get 25% off all 𝗏𝗏𝗲𝗆 plans with my code LaserLadyYT. You could literally make your money back with just one sale, so you've got nothing to lose. So why do niches sell so well? Our number one job as a creator of products is to figure out the connection between our wares and our customers. Without a connection, we just have a bunch of meaningless objects we spent a dumb amount of time making, and I hate wasting time. I'm sure you do too. Have you ever heard the phrase, if you build it, they will come? That is not inspiring. The movie that came from was about a crazy guy who sank his family into debt building a full-on baseball field in the middle of farm country. I guarantee if that happened in real life, that dude would have ended up filing for bankruptcy, gotten divorced, and wound up in the loony bin. And we don't want that for ourselves. Now that we have the who and the what is to figure out the why. One of my biggest pet peeves is when I hear a kid ask their parents why, and the parents respond with, "'Cause I told you so." You can't just tell a customer they need your keychain because you told them so. Mr. Cat Father probably already has a wallet, but his best friend is going to want to get it for him because it's a great present. The problem it is solving is you need a gift for your friend, right? You know this guy, and now we've made a personal connection between you being a great friend and knowing that he is a prideful cat dadderino. You get a friend points for being caring and funny, and your friend gets a wallet. Think of the last thing you bought online. How many times in the description did it tell you why you needed the thing? I just bought some bug netting for my plants, and the description promised me that thanks to all of their netting, my gardening efforts would not be wasted because the bugs won't eat my harvests. Problem solved. You remember those boring wood earrings from before? Well, the why someone might buy those is because they like supporting women-owned businesses. It makes them feel like they're making a difference. And they are, by the way. Shop small as much as you possibly can. Answering why someone would buy your product doesn't always have to be that your life is going to change for the better. It can just be funny and a great gift. It can be helpful for organizing even. A sign with an affirmation on it will make your customers feel good about themselves. Like putting live, laugh, love on everything, it made people feel like Julia Roberts or whatever. You could be selling convenience, feelings, tools, memories, necessities, and more. If I can satisfy my eclectic jewelry collectors with a couple of pairs of earrings they're sure to get compliments on, we're both better off. If you are still trying to find out why people should buy your items, besides the fact that your items are awesome, I know this. I'm going to be doing product reviews very soon, so subscribe, sign up to my email list, and keep your eyes peeled for that. So here's the ultimate takeaway. If you're just getting started, make everything. Do wallets, mugs, signs, keychains. Have your topics cover animals, planes, plants, and holidays. You will get a feel for your customer base, and in time, your products will naturally narrow themselves down. And as a bonus, you'll have a buttload of experience to take forward with you into your business journey. I was throwing darts all willy-nilly, but now that I've landed some darts, I have an area to focus on. So keep on keeping on. I promise when you take steps forward, you always end up ahead. And make one of those steps checking out 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. I am serious. Plus, save 25% on all plans with code LaserLadyYT. That's LaserLadyYT like YouTube. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy crafting!